In this section, we are going to be looking at the 3 stages of learning, and we're going to be taking a look at the degree of freedom. The way boxing is taught, the jab and straight, they both utilize various components of the body simultaneously, which can be difficult for beginners to understand and to take in the process. Depending on the learner stage, coach may have to simplify the instructions in order to reach the learner. The first step in learning the boxing, jab, and straight will be to focus on what level the learner is on, and to take the theory of degree of freedom to provide a simplistic means of teaching. Fitz and Posner suggested that there are 3 levels of learning. The first stage is the cognitive stage, which all of the beginners will fall under. This is where the learner learns the basic understanding of the skill or the movement that they are attempting to improve on. The second stage is the associative stage, where the learner has a basic grasp of the movement and are making small adjustments to improve upon their skill. The last stage is the autonomous stage, where the learner does not need to think anymore. He knows what he's doing. It's quick. At this level, their movements are almost automatic, and they can position themselves with other movements. Okay, so we're going to primarily focus on the cognitive stage. We're going to pretend as though the learner is in the cognitive stage, the new stage. And we'll assume that the boxing movements will be taught to a beginner. The primary method of teaching for these movements will be to utilize Bernstein's degree of freedom proposal. So Bernstein stated that the more joints that are used to perform a movement, the more complex the movement will become. The best way to tackle this problem is to freeze certain joints, which will shift the attention to one or the other. Thus, while learning the boxing, jab, and straight, the joints in the upper and lower body will be looked at and prioritized in order to get the maximum learning potential. As the learner begins to grasp the basic movements, then the other joints can be tacked on and in order to maximize performance. So let's take a look at what we're discussing here. So the boxing jab takes a lot of different joints and movements. Okay, so for a beginner, they probably want to focus on throwing the punch rather than both throwing and moving. Okay, that can get complicated. So we'll focus on throwing the jab first, in and out, in and out, and then as well as the straight. Go out, back in, throw it out, back in. So that is the basic demonstration. So in order to incorporate the lower half, you would perform the lower half first, step, back in, step, back in. Now once the learner begins to understand both concepts, you can put them together. Back, jab and step, back, jab and step, back, straight, back. So this is the stages of learning and the degree of freedom.